in math. You got a 76% high school graduate rate. That's great, but that means 24% of the kids in high school don't graduate. Shouldn't the focus be on getting the kids who drop out, getting them to stay in school, put the money, put the effort, put the emphasis there?
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is about improving schools. And again, Maryland ranks #1 in the nation in public school education for 3 years running, according to Education Week. And so we feel like we do have some things that are working, and our long history of providing environmental education for us is one of those things. Even in the inner city, at Title I schools, when kids have the opportunity to participate in some real-world learning, such as raising native oysters and replenishing reef habitat, by raising those oysters, they can learn their math and they can read and write about the history of oystering in the state of Maryland and throughout the Chesapeake Bay, and that gets them excited, and that helps to boost their achievement. This is really about making schools better.
But are both sides of the environmental debate, such as global warming, going to be taught, or is it just going to be one side?
Well, that's a great question, and people do express concern about the content, but what's important to know is that this new requirement doesn't actually mandate any content at all. It's up to the local education agencies to determine how they're going to meet the requirement and what those curricular components are going to be. So it's really not about pushing any particular content or agenda.
All right, well, it's been controversial, and it will start next year. Sarah Bodor, we thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, Eric.
All right, Julie.
All right, Eric. Well, the city of Atlanta taking on unemployment. It's a tough task. It's launching an initiative challenging employers to hire at least one new worker this year. And so far, it's had pretty impressive results. Elizabeth Pran is live in Atlanta with more on this story. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Julie. That's right. It sounds like a very simple answer to a complex problem, but it seems to be working. We have more than 1,000 companies who've signed up for this program and more than 9,000 people who are now on the payroll. Take a look.
Just a few months ago, Julie Roberts was one of the millions of Americans looking for work.
The day that I was let go, laid off, I was very worried.
Today, she's full-time at a marketing agency in Atlanta. The firm has grown from 7 to 11 employees in just a few months. CEO Moira Vetter credits the growth to an innovative citywide effort to jumpstart the job market.
It's been instrumental to our business. Just taking the first step to hire one has now led to us hiring, in fact, 2 and 3. We're looking at the 4th employee.
It's called Hire One Atlanta. The idea, create a homegrown shift in confidence from inside the business community. The Atlanta Business Chronicle created the campaign to encourage every business to hire at least one new employee. They see it as peer pressure to grow. More companies following suit as they see their business colleagues expand.
It's very simple. Some of the best ideas are very simple.
In just 3 months, more than 1,000 companies have joined the campaign. Almost 9,000 people are now back to work thanks to a positive economic outlook created by Hire One Atlanta.
The incentive is to change what is a half-empty mindset to a half-full mindset, realizing that there are a lot of companies that are indeed still hiring people, even in a down economy.
I think the whole economy, the country, and the world have been focused on this notion of stabilization for the last 2 to 3 years. And I think everybody's got to kick it back into high gear and think forward.
Vetter says her company is living proof that every new employee brings new ideas and new clients. And in fact, now even her clients are hiring, all a ripple effect of this Hire One Atlanta program. Julie, back to you.
Elizabeth Pran in Atlanta, thank you so much.
And have you heard about this? That Fox News Channel has a brand new free iPad app that's available in Apple's iTunes store. You can customize it any way you want. You know, this thing gives you a great way to keep up with the news 24 hours a day from the source that you trust. That's us. And best of all, it's totally free, on the arm, no cost, a freebie. Head on over to foxnews.com/iPad. That's all lowercase to get more information on your iPad app for the Fox News Channel. Well, what happened? There was another surprising twist in the Casey Anthony murder trial yesterday. Did you hear about this one? The judge suddenly ending the court session before it really began, right in the middle of the defense case. Coming up, our legal analysts tell us what this could mean for Casey.
This is Lisa, who tries to stay ahead of her class. Morning starts with arthritis pain. That's 2 pills before the first bell. It's time for recess and more pills. Afternoon art starts and so does her knee pain. That's 2 more pills. Almost done, but hang on. Her doctor recommended Aleve because it can relieve pain all day with just 2 pills. This is Lisa, who switched to Aleve and fewer pills for a day free of pain. And get the all-day pain relief of Aleve in liquid gels.
Mine was earned over the South Pacific in 1943.
Vietnam, 1967.
I got mine in Iraq, 2003.
USAA auto insurance is often handed down from generation to generation because it offers a superior level of protection and because USAA's commitment to serve the military, veterans, and their families is without equal. Begin your legacy. Get an auto insurance quote. USAA. We know what it means to serve.
AOA Products is a packaging company. Every piece of equipment in my shop runs on electricity. It needs to be plugged in. If it's not, it doesn't work. There would be some very hard decisions for me to make if the energy costs went up. I would have to let some of my employees go. They're like family. I don't want to do that. I want to give work to people, not take it away. So I need something that's going to be there, something that's affordable. Electricity from coal does that for me.
He says they could fire me. You didn't go to college.
You're never too old to learn.
Does this mean shoe 17?
They call them smartphones, but only dummies use them in my class.
What kind of thugs did you get involved with? Just my college buddies.
Really?
Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts.
You are way cooler than you appear. My boyfriend's here. Put your pants back on.
These are a little tight.
Larry Crown, rated PG-13, starts Friday.
Thanks to advanced natural gas turbine technology from GE, the power that'll help make our nation more energy independent is right here in America. Advanced gas turbine technology from GE.
At OD, we may be in shipping, but your business is our business. No matter what you ship, it's a promise to a customer, and we'll help you keep it with on-time and safety records that are among the industry's best. OD, helping the world keep promises.
I'm Dr. Suzanne Cohen, and I've got some great news that's really hard to believe. There's a mouthwash called Smart Mouth. It gives you fresh breath for 12 hours. Rinse with Smart Mouth in the morning, fresh breath all day. Rinse at night and wake up without bad breath. No morning breath. Sounds unbelievable, but it's been clinically proven and independently verified. 12-hour fresh breath. No other mouthwash can do this. Smart Mouth. It's a remarkable invention.
My name is Tommy. I'm a fireman.
Our hearts and thoughts, they fade, fade away. Hearts and thoughts, they fade away.
Rescue Me, the final season, July on FX.
Did you catch it? That courtroom stunner in the Casey Anthony trial this weekend. Yesterday, the judge suddenly adjourning court before it ever really even began, citing, quote, a legal issue. What could this surprise move mean for the trial? Joining me now, David Wohl, a defense attorney. David, always great to see you. All right.
Good morning,
possible explanations for this inexplicable adjournment, if you will, run from a possible deal to fresh allegations of violations of a court order that expert witnesses must disclose the full substance of their testimony or face exclusion from the trial, something that Baez has done before. What do you think is really going on behind the scenes?
Well, Julie, it's unlikely a plea deal because in the rare event that there's a plea deal in the middle of a death penalty trial, it's usually because a defendant has accepted life without parole as a punishment. And in this case, there's no chance, given the state of the evidence, that Casey Anthony is going to accept life without parole. Now, there's a couple of witness problems, and they could be big problems for the prosecution. Mr. Rodriguez, who was a defense witness, was about to testify as to forensic issues of the skeletal remains of Kaylee, and suddenly he got a call from his employer, the federal government, that said, basically, if you testify, you're fired. And the defense is saying it's possible, and possible is a key word here, that the prosecution contacted the employer, the federal government, and said, you know what, look what's about to happen here. Your employee is about to testify, and we want you to know this. And if that's the case, it could be witness tampering. So that's a huge problem. If I'm a defense attorney, I would file a motion to dismiss the charges based on prosecutorial misconduct. You know, and then there's the evidence regarding Mr. Kronk as well and his phone records. So, you know, they didn't disclose all of Kronk's phone records a full 5 months. Now, he's a man who found the skeletal remains. That could also be prosecutorial misconduct if there's exculpatory evidence in those phone records, and that's a big if.
Speaking of Mr. Kronk, the guy who placed the phone call, called the cops, and then they were led to her skeletal remains. Kronk's cell phone records they want to look at within a 6-month span. Do you think that the defense is somehow going to try to prove that investigators at first thought that perhaps Kronk was not just an innocent bystander and that somehow he might have had some ill intentions?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, is the prosecutor apparently turned over 1 month of those cell phone records from June to July of 2008. Now, they're going to hypothesize that those extra 5 months until Kaylee's body was found in the dirt lot somehow contained, you know, information of his whereabouts using the triangulation method that they use to find where people are when they make phone calls. Now, if he was in the area, perhaps in the area where the skeleton was discovered, it may be that they've got something there. Remember, they're just trying to raise reasonable doubt. And if they don't have that information, and the information was not turned over to them, boy, I'll tell you what, that motion will be flying Monday, and this jury trial may not proceed on Monday if they actually have a motion to dismiss the case based on that misconduct. So it could be huge, Julie. I wouldn't hold your breath, but they're certainly making it a big deal.
Let's talk about the defense's tactics. Defense lawyer Jose Baez, he argues that Casey Anthony suffered sexual abuse by her father and her brother. And after sitting down with Geraldo Rivera, Baez revealed that he wanted the jury to know that Casey's parents actually feared that her brother Lee Anthony was Kaylee's father. And that's why they didn't want him involved in the baby's birth. Now listen to brother Lee Anthony's tearful testimony in court on Friday.
I was just angry at everyone in general that they didn't want to include me, and didn't find it important enough to tell me.
Now, in Baez's words, Lee blocked out his sister's pregnancy. Judge Perry then stopped that line of questioning, threw it out. But should the defense stop trying to present so much of the family's drama in court?
Well, you know, they should use this because this is really bordering on irrelevant. I don't know exactly what they're trying to prove. My guess is they're trying to show the family keeps secrets. And if family keeps secrets about a pregnancy, they're going to keep secrets about a dead baby as well. I don't think this is going to work.
Do you think they're keeping a secret that Lee Anthony is the father of his sister's baby?
No, I think that's absurd, and I think there would have been a paternity test at some point to prove that. If there was, and there may have been, that resolves the issue. But, you know, the problem is here, if they're going to prove this, Julie, about the issue of the sexual molest causing her state of mind that led to that 30 days of partying, Casey Anthony has to take the stand and testify about that. There's no other way to prove it to the jury in a credible way. So if they're going to do that,
or to spare
Casey will
the
get
death
up there and
penalty
talk
if
about
she's
it.
convicted. All right, David Wohl, that's all the
Exactly.
time we have. But thank you so much, David, for coming on.
Great to see you, Julie.
Well, now to the economy. Despite the up and downs this year, the Dow has held fairly firm, at least until recently, you know. It's been slow.